What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? The Devil, Capricorn energy at the foundation of the reading. Okay, so for the past couple days, as I've been leading up to this reading, I kept hearing humiliation rituals. Now, I feel that a lot of you have gotten to this point in your life where you're starting to see that there's this very clear pattern of things that have unfolded in your life. Now, a very basic example of what I'm picking up in regards to this topic of humiliation rituals can relate to a situation where you're quite possibly cast out, scapegoated, or exiled from certain communities, friends groups, could have to do with your family as well. It's like all of a sudden you start to break path. You start to go in a different direction, much like a black sheep or a kind of chosen individual, somebody who's trying to do things differently. And they typically sense this inside of you before you even realize that this is supposed to be the path that you're meant to take. But you just start to see a kind of breakdown in these environments. People start to do things to, well, humiliate you, embarrass you. It's a way of really putting a spotlight on all of your shortcomings as a means to cast you out in some capacity. Now, in mythology, the hero or the kind of mystic is always humiliated or cast out before they receive a kind of mantle of power. It's like they have to go through this energetic wilderness before the revelation. It's like you're being used by the universe as an instrument to see what people's treatment will be towards you. Now, these things can be triggered by certain events or situations that the universe puts you through to see what people's response will be. You know, a lot of these things that you have gone through have seen you having to brave the storm on your own without anybody's assistance. And it isn't always going to be based on something you've done wrong. Sometimes it can just be a collective of events that creates some sort of domino effect. And this is the universe really positioning you to, again, weigh people's hearts. I often say in my readings that a lot of you are sent into these life cycles as almost undercover agents without even knowing it. And your environments, your family structures are being tested by the universe through you. And humiliation rituals are one of the biggest things that a lot of you have had to encounter on this path. But the humiliation ritual is also what wakes you up to your power. Now, I've heard of situations before where people have this kind of energy following them. It's like you can't escape it. So let's say, for example, you move from one city to the next because you dealt with people scapegoating you or kind of casting you out. It's like they pointed at you and decided that you were the source of all of their problems. But it wasn't just one individual. It was almost like a group effort. It's like one person said something and they all said, yeah, let's go get him, right? So let's say, for example, this person goes through this and they move to an entirely new city, trying to start over. And then after they've moved away and tried to reintegrate into a new environment, the exact same thing happens, but with a different cast of characters. Now, this is a very clear example, again, of an individual being used as a divine instrument. It has nothing to do with the way you're moving. It has nothing to do with really you per se. It just speaks about a path that was hand-selected for you because before you even came here, when you were sitting at divine headquarters, so to speak, they told you that you were the best person for the job. Now, a lot of you are getting to the point where you're starting to see this pattern. It's just happened far too many times now for you to not realize that there's something much bigger going on there. It's like you have gone around and around in the same cycle, delivering life lessons to individuals without you even being aware of it, and also being aligned to wake up to your highest potential. It's like the humiliations that wounded you were also being used to forge you, right? And this doesn't last forever. You know, in a lot of cases, I've seen this play out in people's lives for about 20 years until they finally wake up to it. Like, oh, what's going on here? There's something not right. Sensing that there's something much deeper at play there is what triggers your awakening, right? It's what calls you to go inward. It's what creates the superhero from within you. It is your kind of hero story. When we think about a hero, let's say in the comic books or in the movies, they always have some sort of origin story. And it's typically always based in something very tragic. It just awakens something from within them. And even though our lives are littered with these fictional characters that we see in the movies and the comic books, there's never ever a mention that those individuals are actually inspired by everyday people. They're really just exaggerations of what all of us have the power to become. There is a message of hope in all of their stories, but it's very veiled. It's not made obvious to us. We look at all of them as being superhuman, when really the truth is it's all of you that have the capability to become superhuman. Now, the devil card here at the foundation of the reading is showing us the devil right here with these two individuals shackled, and there's this whole legion, right? A whole collective of these demons watching the devil right here. It's almost like he's having a concert talking to all of them. A big speech about how he's sending all of them into your lives to create all these events. Almost like the Truman Show, but more sinister, right? It's much darker than that. It's something that is meant to keep you asleep, but it's also something that works to destroy you and the very reason why you actually came here to begin with. What do we have of the sacred, please, Spirit? Queen of Wands. Fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sag at the sacral. Now, one of the other messages that Spirit wanted me to speak about in this reading was the process of reconnecting and or healing your inner child. And this Queen of Wands is a perfect representation of just that, because it shows us the three levels of you, okay? As you can see, there's an individual sitting in the throne here, right? But they're facing that way. And then we have an elderly individual and a younger individual here. It's like all three of these individuals represent the three levels of you, right? Past, present, future. This could also be seen as your inner child and you reconnecting with your inner child. It's like your future you is connecting with past you, again, the inner child, to bring present day you into alignment. Now, I put up some posts in the community of my channel where I was actually speaking about the inner child and the importance of connecting with these parts of you. It's basically the process by which you are there for certain versions of yourself that may have felt abandoned or lost. Now, most commonly when we think about the wounded inner child, we think about childhood, because that's typically when the most wounding takes place. But really, it can be at any point in your life. It could have been a year ago. It could have been 10 years ago. It just really speaks about, again, that part of you that was left alone in the void without any closure or any real direction. And so you just have to push forward for survival's sake. And when you do that without any sort of understanding, it will create an imprint. It's a kind of wounding that is filed in your subconscious mind. Now, when you're a child and you go through this, it can be highly damaging. It will literally shape your development. It's like you carry an imprint of that wound, of that hurt, of that pain, whatever it is, just becomes a part of you. So the process by which you connect with that inner child can be very powerful, and it can really make or break your development present day. It can be the deciding factor whether or not you get a breakthrough in your life. And allow me to explain how that could work. Let's say you're trying to achieve something quite massive in your life, and it requires you to have every bit of confidence to really achieve this thing, to get that breakthrough. But you're feeling a sense of lack somewhere. Typically, it's going to show up in the mind. You're second-guessing yourself. You're constantly wondering if you're good enough to do something, if this is really for you. All the voices in your head, right? Which are a petri dish, really, of all of these negative projections that we have encountered on our path. It's like all of a sudden at once, you hear just every negative thing everybody has ever said to you. In that moment when you need to lift yourself up, you start to subconsciously tear yourself down without even realizing you're being your own worst enemy in that moment. But the way that you can overcome this is by connecting to those parts of yourself. You take the time out to really think back to when you were most impacted by certain traumas in your life. You're there for that version of yourself now because you have grown and developed into an individual that can be there for that person. And I call this becoming your own hero. Now, this can bridge to the humiliation rituals because the humiliation rituals are often a direct mirror of all of the things inside of you that still need healing. And it's quite magical when you begin to do this kind of work on yourself. how much your life begins to transform. Those environments where these people have subjected you to these sorts of rituals, all of a sudden begin to break down. You begin harnessing your inner superhero, and the environment begins to shift around this. And this is exactly the way it was always meant to be. It's like you have found a key to your own self-empowerment, and it comes by healing the parts of yourself that were left alone and confused. Now, this can sound layered. It can sound complex, but it's really not. In fact, it's a lot easier than you think. Think about it like this. In any given moment, there's multiple versions of you existing on different timelines. Again, there's that past version, there's future you, there's the you in the here and now. And the experience that you have in the moment is based on where you place your consciousness. So if your consciousness is inside this version of yourself right now that is experiencing these humiliation rituals, that has also not seen you connect with that inner child to implement this kind of healing, then your entire reality will be built around that. But as soon as you begin to take what we are suggesting to you here and empower yourself based on this idea, your reality will then begin to shift around this new version of you that is beginning the transformation process. You know, we always hear that we create our reality, and this might actually be a really good example of how that actually happens. It all has to do with the parts of ourself that we haven't healed yet. Think about it. The universe creates a whole entire world around you that represents everything inside of you that you haven't healed yet. It would make perfect sense. It's like the universe trying to wake you up to all of it. So much so that they build entire sets and scenes and bring in actors and actresses to perform it all. If you can just stop for a moment, think about what I'm saying here, and actually implement some of this, what you'll begin to see is a certain kind of, miracle begin to unfold in your life. You create the miracle. It's not something that is just given to you by some sort of external force. A miracle is something that you can most definitely go out and find yourself. And this is absolutely one of the easiest ways to do it. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Perfect. Temperance, Sag energy at the solar plexus. So there is the healing. And see how the temperance angel here has 2 cups? I've never actually looked at it like this before, but I immediately thought of this right after this Queen of Wands, right? It's like this is you, present day, mixing, or rather integrating these other parts of you, past, inner child, and future you, right? It's like your future you needs you to bring all of you into balance, harmony, and a certain kind of alignment to be able to achieve the certain greatness that the divine has sent you here to achieve. And that temperance angel is right there at that solar plexus position, which is speaking about your personal power and drive. And see how your head, your crown is lit up there? It's like you're receiving the downloads, the messages from the divine, which is just really highlighting a certain kind of understanding surrounding what I am channeling through for all of you here today. So going back to the humiliation rituals, you are going to get to a point once you've moved on from these things where you're going to look back at those humiliation rituals and say to yourself, if I knew what I knew now, I would have moved much differently when I was dealing with all of that, because it had very little, if anything, to do with what I did and didn't do wrong, and more to do with waking me up to the fact that I was being used as a divine instrument. And another way of putting this would be you being used by the divine as a kind of tower, right? It's like you're sent in to these groups to destroy them from within. A literal glitch in the matrix. That's what you are. And this is what Spirit is trying to wake you up to. And see how detailed it gets? There's layers upon layers to this. There's complexities that are beyond what our minds can even begin to conceive. But if you can think about all of this from the perspective that I'm giving you here, it should be enough to get the wheels turning and to understand that things aren't happening to you, but they're happening for you, to align you with your true north and your path. See, you actually knew all this before you even came here. You were told, very similar to what I'm telling you. Hey, you're going to go down there, you're going to experience horrendous heartbreak and be put through these humiliation rituals. People are going to cast you out, but that's just how it goes when you're on this kind of mission. And you have to stay strong, because everything we're speaking about here, you're going to forget as soon as you hit the 3rd density. and you're being incarnated down there, you won't have any memory of this conversation. But your life is going to be a collection of events to help you wake up to align with the greater purpose for your life. But we're going to be up here watching you the entire time. You're going to be on a kind of tether down there. And we're going to be using these events to help trigger your awakening. And eventually you will get on the other side of this and you'll see exactly what's taking place here. And when you get to that point, you will truly begin to realize that you're unstoppable. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how long you've been going through this for. It doesn't matter where you are in accordance with your life journey. All that matters is that you remember that you have a soul and it's meant to wake up to the actual truth when it's supposed to. Because everything that has taken place up until that very moment had to happen because you needed to arm yourself with that specific wisdom for the rest of the path that lies ahead. What do we have at the heart, please? Judgment in reverse. Pluto, Scorpio energy at the heart. I feel that this is a very clear message to those of you that are feeling very stuck right now. The Judgment card in reverse can be an energy that refuses to self-examine. Okay, it's an energy that feels very stuck in life. It's an energy that is just drowning in self-doubt. It's like you're beating yourself up. You're becoming your own worst enemy. When Spirit is trying to wake you up to what we're saying here. Now, something that I want a lot of you to understand is the lower you feel, the higher you're actually meant to rise. You're not supposed to stay at that rock bottom, okay? You're supposed to launch yourself off of that rock bottom. Rock bottom is actually the key to finding your superpower because it's typically going to see you being left with only two options. One, you give up on yourself and you stay there at that rock bottom and you just set up shop. Or you understand that that is Spirit saying, go time, now launch. And you become that personal superhero that you were always meant to become. Now, with the Judgment card highlighting the refusal to self-examine right at that heart chakra, which is very profound because the heart chakra is going to be directly connected to the parts of you that need that healing, right? That inner child healing. It's like there's parts of you that have been so impacted by these traumas on your path, you have become consumed by resentment and bitterness. Now, the resentment and bitterness will color your entire experience of your life because it tells us that you are now somebody who walks through life having trust issues, punishing every single person that comes across your path based on something that these legions of demons dressed up as people who said they cared about you put you through, okay? So this is why it's incredibly important to heal these parts of you. Do your inner child healing. You must do this. It's the key to all of this. Now, I've spoken about this before. I feel like it's probably been several months, but one of the ways you can really get the ball rolling here is to write a letter to that version of you, right? When you think about yourself and your path, what do you think about the most, right? In terms of when you experience the most trauma, write a letter to that version of you. Look at that version of you as your child. And now you want to go and be there for that version of you. You want to protect that version of you. So it's like going back in the past, connecting with that version of you has this almost immediate effect on how you show up in the present day. I would go as far as saying that it practically happens in the blink of an eye. You just find something there. It's like you end a kind of suffering. Instead of waiting for somebody else to provide you with something, to heal those parts of you, which may not even be something that you can fully articulate. It's like you go back, you pick up the pieces, you fix it. It's like you stitch yourself back together. Not only does that have an immediate effect on the way you show up in the here and now, but it changes your life path and the trajectory you have been on forever. All of a sudden, you start building a reality for yourself that tells the universe that you don't need anybody else to heal you and to pick you up because you can do it for yourself. And when you do this, you start creating a reality that reflects that back to you. All of a sudden, better people start coming into your life that are not a direct mirror reflection of all of those parts of you that needed healing. They're reflections of all of the healed parts of you. People just like you. All of a sudden, you start to build a whole world for yourself with like-minded individuals. That's what this is all about. This is how you create a reality based on inner child healing and visual manifestation, which is in direct alignment with your actual destiny. This is the keys to your purpose. This is how you do it. I would say that the key to actually finding your purpose is always going to have to do with healing something inside of you. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Knight of Wands, fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sag, at the throat. Perfect. Now, this Knight of Wands to me is representing the point of realization. This is when you understand what is being delivered in this reading here. You actually put it into action and you charge forward on your path, realizing that everything that has taken place up until this very moment, that has seen you being down at that rock bottom, were instruments used by the underworld, so to speak, to keep you from your actual true north path. And usually it takes you thinking about all of this for a moment and saying, why so much focus on me and my path, right? There must be something there of importance, yes, and you don't even need to know what it is. All you need to know is that you're not going to find it by staying in that pit where they want you. Now, I'm seeing that scene from Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, where he's climbing out of the pit, and that actual scene holds a lot of symbolism. It's all about confronting fear and despair and no longer avoiding it. And this is directly connected to our inner child here, right? The inner child is how you become the superhero. Think about it. It makes perfect sense. You go back and become your own hero, which makes you the superhero in present day. And this is exactly what I'm getting with the Knight of Wands. Not to mention, it says night there, right? So I was speaking about the Dark Knight Rises. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands to Knight of Swords. When you begin to, again, really understand what we're saying here, you will see that all of the suffering that you have endured on your path can be overcome and transmuted by these actions here. This is when all of those people begin to receive the karmic consequences for what they've put you through, which isn't what this is about. But it can be very shocking when all of a sudden you are becoming this new improved version of yourself, and then there's other people's lives that are seemingly crumbling, or people are having a fall from grace, which can obviously be very telling. It's like, how is it that all of a sudden you're doing great and these people's lives are falling apart, when on an alternate timeline, it was the other way around? You were at the bottom and they were at the top, and they were also forming weapons against you to make you suffer. This can also be seen as justice taking place in your life. This is when the scales begin to balance out. What was once down is now up, and vice versa. It's universal law, and it has to happen this way. You being on the bottom, you being down, was meant to happen because it had to wake you up to who you truly were. And I know that feeling of being so down, feeling so lost and forgotten, like you could become dust in the wind tomorrow and the world would keep spinning and not even notice. But that's just the thing. That's an old reality. This new reality that you're preparing to align with, this isn't the case at all. You are here for a very specific reason. And though I can't tell you what that is for each and every one of you, what I can tell you is that I know that you have something inside of you that is calling you, almost like a distress signal. You can't put your finger on it. You can't even explain it. It's just an inner feeling. It's like an itch that you can't scratch because it's not on the surface. It's in your soul. This is what it feels like to go through this process. The Knight of Wands here is rising up out of the pit, and the Knight of Swords here is pushing forward, empowered, with absolute certainty that you are being called for a higher purpose. You don't even need to know what it is. All you need to do is follow that distress signal. The Knight of Swords is also the energy of the soldier, which is really highlighting what we were saying at the beginning of the reading. You being a divine instrument, a soldier. See, when you begin to wake up to everything that we've laid out here, everything just begins to make sense. You come from a life of being at that rock bottom, beating yourself up, feeling confused, feeling unseen, unheard, like you don't matter, like you're just dust in the wind, to understanding that there's a huge reason why you're here. And I know sometimes a lot of you will listen to the readings and say, oh, my life's not that important. I'm just little old me. Nobody cares and blah, blah, blah. Look, I get it. I used to say that to myself all the time. I had that feeling until I began to really understand this message here for myself and began to realize that just like all of you, I had my place here too. We all have it. I call this our allocated position. It's like spirit, the divine source is calling you back to your stations, energetically speaking. And it's found by implementing this process that we are channeling on right here. I'm also hearing that for a lot of you, that have been ignoring that distress signal, you've been pushed to a point where there was nothing left to lose but to say, okay, well, maybe I will just step out on faith here and follow this inner calling because I got nothing left to lose. A lot of cases, that's where you're going to find yourself. This sort of breakthrough doesn't always come when you're sitting pretty, right? Comes after you've gone through some struggle. You've gone through some heartbreak, some confusion. It's going to look different for each and every one of you. But it's the pain of these experiences that transforms you. A part of you dies and a new part of you is reborn. And the Judgment card, being Scorpio energy, right smack dab in the middle of the reading here, is speaking about transformation. It's like the universe is trying to transform you right now. And the only one truly standing in the way of this transformation is you. What do we have at the crown, please? Wow. 5 of Cups, Scorpio energy again at the crown. Right after I was speaking about the Judgment card, which is Scorpio energy here. Okay, so this 5 of Cups sees you here underneath this dark cloud, okay? Focused on these cups that are spilled out and this distracting energy back there. See, these humiliation rituals for a lot of you have seen you become parts of certain communities and then become scapegoated because they saw a light inside of you that made them feel uncomfortable. Maybe you tried to help certain individuals, and all of a sudden, they start coming after you. It's like you become a litmus test for people's integrity. People reveal who they are around you because your presence agitates their unhealed layers. Their reaction to you is never about you. It's about what your energy exposes. You have to remember that these people are being used by the underworld, right? They're vessels of the underworld. It's like they all hold one of these spirits. And when you begin to agitate these spirits, they come for you through these people. The humiliation rituals are a very common form of agitated demons coming for you because you threaten their very existence. So with this 5 of Cups here, it looks like that person is calling out for help, right? And you're having to turn a blind eye, so to speak. It's like you can't put your energy into thinking you can help these people anymore. Because the thing is here, a lot of you have been so focused on trying to help heal others when you haven't done the proper healing work on yourself yet, right? There's a process to this. And I would say that every single person who has the capacity to help heal others goes down this road. It's like all of a sudden you wanted to start helping other people before you've actually helped yourself, before you've actually done the inner work on yourself. You go down this path and you find that the more you try to help others, the more they attack you. You're like, what's going on here? And then Spirit starts to illuminate to you, hey, yeah, all healers do this, right? It's not really a mistake. It's just the path you have to go to understand how this truly works. So then you withdraw your energy, you pull back, you turn a blind eye, right? And you focus on you. You become your own superhero, and now you have the power and the ability to help heal those who actually want the healing, not people who are already lost to this energy. Once they've been taken over by this spirit, there's nothing you can do, okay? Only an act of God can help those people. But you now become an example. See, this is what all this is about. You become a healer by becoming an example of an individual who is on the path to healing. People look to you and say, that's so inspiring. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to be like. Going to people and saying, hey, you need to heal this, and that, and the other. They never listen, right? Because they look at you and say, well, who are you? And see, especially if it's family or friends or people you've always known, this is the story of Jesus. In his own hometown, nobody respected him, right? It's like he had to leave his own hometown to become a success in his field, so to speak. It's like they have this idea of who you've always been, especially when they've seen you growing up, so in family dynamics. So to all of a sudden shift their perspective of you as this new spiritual healer or whatever it is you were sent here to do, I'm just giving you examples, it's practically impossible. They feel slighted by you. They feel like you look down on them. But the reality is you were put into those environments for a reason. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? Hierophant. Right underneath that devil. Okay, so the Hierophant from this deck is a godless energy. It's an energy that is in direct opposition with your belief systems and what you actually came here to do. So simply put, your enemies were strategically placed all around your life to keep you trapped inside of a kind of energetic prison at that rock bottom, right? Your friends, your families, your communities, however this shows up for you. All of the people that you just want to be proud of you, or all of the people that you just want validation from in some capacity. All of the people that try to tell you how to live your life, place it as it fits. Those are the very people who are holding you back from becoming your greatest you. Right on the bottom of the deck, Three of Cups. Okay, so the Three of Cups from this deck is an energy of gossip. So this is them, right? Oh, yeah, they think they're all high and mighty now because they're spiritual and this and that and blah, blah, blah. They think they can tell me how to live my life. What do we have at the sacral, please? Death. Lilith. Right at the sacral. Okay, so the death card from this deck is following what I just said because it's an energy that is basically standing in the way of your transformation. The death card is an energy of change, transformation, right? Scorpio energy. It's the phoenix that rises up out of the ashes, but this energy here is the opposite. And it's right underneath this Queen of Wands, which was highlighting that inner child healing. See, all of these things are working in tandem to keep you from your breakthrough. I'm hearing something here about conditioning. Okay, I just heard okay, I'm getting a ringing in my ears now. So this is correct. But so this is right on target here. You know, the saying, we are the sum of the 5 closest people to us, right? Now, this can really speak about generational conditioning, just people that you always have around you, right? It's like when you break path and you start to go on this journey here, one, none of those people are going to understand what it is you're doing, okay? And two, none of them can go with you. We mentioned that they'll begin to feel slighted by this direction that you begin to move, right? Because when you start connecting spiritual matters and the comparison between you and others, which I know that you're not doing intentionally, it's something that they're actually doing, it stirs something inside of people, right? It agitates them and makes them come for you, which is why the humiliation rituals all happen to begin with. And in the more extreme instances of this happening, I mean, this is the death card. You know, some of you have been through real hell with these people. But the most important thing to understand is that these sorts of people who do this to other individuals will stop at nothing to silence you. And the only way that you can truly overcome any of that is to fully empower. Because once you begin your rise, you will get to a point where they can't touch you. The weapons they form against you no longer reach you. And a lot of it has to do with the perspective shift that you begin to have. The transformation you have gone through just allows you to see these people now as limited. It's almost like they're just little gnats or annoying flies to you. You begin to wonder how they put you through what they did to begin with, because they become so incredibly insignificant when you begin to look at the bigger picture of your life, which is something that is revealed to you when you go down this path. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? The star card, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. Now, this star card here is an energy that wants you to be ignored, right? The star card typically, for many of the other decks, is an energy of being in the spotlight, being recognized for something. But from this deck, it's the complete opposite. They are working overtime, doing whatever they have to make sure that you don't step into your allocated position and align with that hero archetype. That is their worst fear, because when that happens, it begins the slow downfall, all of the parts of themselves that they constructed off of seeing you at your rock bottom. And whenever I get this card, It's like you're saying, all right, chosen one, go ahead and hand over that purpose to me. You won't be needing that. See, a lot of you are coming from cycles where you would have went, okay, I guess you're right. Because they get inside your head, right? When it's family, they try to tell you how to live your life. When you've got some sort of inner childhood wounding that you haven't addressed yet, so other people just come into your life and begin poking at that inner child healing that you need to do. It's like you're handing these individuals the keys to your life without even realizing it. And some of these individuals are people that you have confided in. And these can be very dangerous individuals because you're basically telling them what your kryptonite is, right? It's like you're telling them where you're hurt and wounded. And if they know what that is, then they can begin to agitate those wounds, poke at them, pour salt on them. What do we have at the heart, please? The Fool at the heart. Now, this just follows up what I said here perfectly, because see how this individual here, it's almost like they got this sneaky look on their face, hands behind their back, and they're just kind of tiptoeing around like, did you just say that you just went through this? Oh, did you just say that this trauma impacted you earlier on in life? Very interesting. Good to know. I'll take a mental note of that. See, these are the kinds of people here who will use these things against you to take you down. And this takes us full circle to the beginning about what a humiliation ritual is to begin with. It's like they study you. They get you to trust them and confide in them. And then they come for you, right? They take you down with the very weapons that you handed over to them. This energy here is a foolish energy. See, these people are so calculated. They're thinking about all of this. It's like there you are just wearing your heart on your sleeve or pouring out your emotions into these people that you thought you can trust. All the while, they're just sitting there calculating your downfall. It's just programmed into these people because of who you are. This is something that a lot of you really need to begin to understand, okay? Don't hand over your power like that to people. I myself have made this mistake many times in my life, and it wasn't until I stopped doing this that I see the major breakthroughs in my life. So I'm not just saying this. This is all stuff that I've experienced myself. You want to trust people, right? Like we mentioned. But we want to trust the right people. And the way we trust the right people is by creating a reality for ourselves that allows the right people to come into our reality, which is a direct result of the healing that we go through first. Capiche? Okay. And then we have the 10 of Wands, Sag energy. It says right there, spiritual communication. Now, the 10 of Wands from this deck is an energy of freedom. It's an energy of saying no. Finally standing up for yourself and laying down any of the burdens that these people, these situations, these mindsets, this lack of healing has placed on your shoulders. It's like walking through life carrying all this heavy baggage for no reason. And a lot of it is baggage that other people have placed on you. You're really being called here to let go of all of this. You know, that baggage has become so heavy, you can't launch yourself off of that rock bottom, right? You know, the Fool card, which we got here, but this is Fool card red and it's negative polarity. The Fool card in its positive polarity is card 0 in the tarot. And it's an individual taking a leap of faith, right? And they've just got a little satchel over their shoulder, right? That's it. They just take what they need and they move forward. They're not carrying all this unnecessary baggage and weight. And that's how you launch yourself off of that rock bottom. You let it all go because you have so much trust, faith, and hope in Source and the divine that you are going to align with a more optimal timeline, which is now a direct reflection of the vibration that you are now emanating. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Hangman, Pisces energy at the throat. Perfect. It says right here, protects from liars, evil spells, and bad spirits, okay? So both of these cards represent letting go, okay? You're seeing things from a higher perspective. You're seeing, again, that all of this burden was placed on you that doesn't even belong to you. The inner child healing was also directly connected to these people, these events, these situations. You start to see how there's a very detailed, very meticulous plan that was canvassed over your life to keep you in that space. You will no longer sacrifice yourself to help prop these people up on the top of the wheel. And this is very eye-opening. You're going to pull the rug out from underneath them and watch as you begin to see very clearly that they actually needed you. They needed your energy. They needed your suffering to help prop up the lie that they were living. Right on the bottom of the deck, 8 of Swords, okay? So this is you no longer being in this self-imposed restriction. Again, an energy of freedom. So we're starting to get a very similar message here towards the end, just confirmation after confirmation. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Page of Swords, air energy at the third eye. Okay, so now here you are, right? See, on this illustration, you're on the cover of a poster, which is just representing you standing in your power now and them not being able to say anything about it. Yeah, I just heard they go from gossiping, casting out, humiliating you, to now being silenced. And I just heard tears, right? One day they're laughing, and the next day they're crying. What do we have at the crown to close this out? The Devil. Capricorn energy at the crown to close out the reading. Unbelievable. We began with the Devil, and we end with the Devil. But this Devil is very different because, look, he's shuffling off, right? Because you've spotted him. Like I said, you agitate the demons within, right? It says right there, seduction and downfall, communicates with the dead. So it's just another way of saying that they are agents of the underworld. You are agents of the divine. This is a battle of light and dark. This is a battle of angels and demons. And this is a very clear confirmation of the matrix, right? The kind of illusion that we all live in. Like I mentioned, when you're incarnated into the third density, it's like you're entering into enemy territory. So they're able to wipe your memory of the plan, the mission statement. You cross enemy lines. Here you are, just living your life, down and out, right? Or whatever it is you're dealing with. Not even realizing that you're a whole soldier of the light out here. Just thinking that, oh, nobody cares about you. You're just dust in the wind. You're just little old you. But this is you. Seeing that that in and of itself is a lie. This is you breaking the matrix in your life. This is you breaking the prison that has been constructed around your mind and your reality. And this is you aligning with your higher power, your higher purpose, the exact reason why you're even here, whatever that looks like for you in your everyday waking life. It doesn't have to look like some grand worldwide event or see you flying through the sky with a cape. No, it just needs to see you living your best life, because somewhere in there is the whole reason why you're even here. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. And there's a glitch in the YouTube app right now. So if you're trying to press like on the video and it's not allowing you to like the video, do me a favor and just drop a heart or a comment, and that will work just the same, okay? But whatever the case, I would like to extend my gratitude for all of your donations and support on my channel, your personal reading bookings, the purchases that you have all made at my online store, and also thank you to everybody who's joined the membership side of my channel. But in closing, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you. So let me know in the comment section down below, again, by dropping a heart and or a comment, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.